stand up and help us? Thank you very much, sir. It's a great honor. May I now? Sir has to leave. So, what I request, sir, to deliver a word of the wisdom for all of us, and then I'll take sir to the, few of the stalls, and then sir will be leaving because from Bhutan the delegation is coming. So, sir has to leave. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Shri, for the nice words, and I compliment ITS India, Akhilesh and Shri in particular for making it happen. Akhilesh said roti, kapra or makan was our priorities. Transport has been added now. I differ slightly. I think transport was always a priority. It was somehow not being mentioned. It went into the shadows. It went into the darkness. To give you an example, if you look to all the big cities all over the world, they came across the banks of rivers because that was the medium of transport at that time. Rivers was the main medium of transport. Therefore, cities had to come here. In India particularly, you count many big cities there on the banks of rivers. Then our railway network took precedence over road network, and therefore many cities came across the railway junctions. And it was only later when we concentrated on the road network, our number of cities could expand. Now, this just indicates that the transport has a direct linkage with the development of any nation. And today, one of the reasons why US is considered most advanced, if you permit me, is because of their road network primarily and the efficient transport system. So I think transport was probably not given that kind of importance which we ought to. My subject of research has been quality reliability, and I remember having worked on reliability of communication systems. And in IIT, I think 10 years ago, I presented a paper where I said, when you talk about mobility, unless you combine both mobilities, communication mobility and transportation mobility, unless you combine both, you will not be able to solve the problems of congestion and everything. As a matter of fact, I have given a model for India because we have too many villages still compared to the cities, that if we have about 10 villages and make it as a cluster, very well connected electronically as well as
please excuse me, can you move chairs that side? Udhar thoda chairs udhar.
And that is one of our past president had promoted. It did not take up that strong when he promoted Pura scheme, providing urban facilities to rural areas. So unless we are able to do that, we will not be able to solve this problem. I was going through the stalls quickly in the morning, few of them. I don't think technology is a blocking issue at the moment. It is the application of technology which is a blocking issue. As a matter of fact, the gap between technology development and technology utilization is something to be watched for. And that is where technology also gets a dip when you don't get volume of skills. There are so many people here. Technology can flourish only when you get the volume of skills. And if the awareness is lacking, the volume of skills doesn't encourage the technology developments to do it fast. And that is where the slow thing happens. So I feel a combination of the two is a must. and we have to go ahead with it. Intelligent transport, I don't think is a choice now. It's a must. It has to happen. It is happening. It's only some time in the history comes where you call something as intelligent. I don't think transport has become intelligent on one single day. Intelligence is always and continuum. It has remained this. Only thing is when you realize that day has come, we have to appreciate it, use it more aggressively. You start calling it ideas. I would call same thing about AI, being a student of computer science. Not that AI was invented one fine day and it has happened. So it's a continuum and it happens. I remember long time ago, maybe 30 years ago, I spent a summer in Ford Motors as a consultant, and that time, prior to that, all the electronics used to be in the dashboard of the car. And in that summer, we invented a distributed model where we put separate electronics in the doors. And thereby, the microprocessors were more than one in the car, and the wiring was reduced to half. And therefore, the safety of preventing fires in the vehicles was reduced to half, and so on and so forth. Now, I don't know whether it was intelligent or not, but the point is, it was done at that time. And then I was reading the interview of MD of Ford Motors, not today, about 15 years ago, when some interviewer asked him, "Sir, do you think your competitor is General Motors?" He said, "No, my competitor is Amazon. My competitor is Facebook. My competitor is Google. My competitor is Microsoft." So the point is, intelligent transport system was being talked about indirectly for several years. The only thing is we have to move fast in this direction. And I congratulate Shri for having taken lead in several aspects. I mean, one thing for which is known in the country, FASTag system in India. I mean, surely his contribution, and he is very well recognized and to be credited for that. But some small things will make a difference to the transport, and it will become a very big thing. I'm very sure when the things were discussed with me, I felt that we as a university which catered to all the SAARC nations, if we take up this responsibility of creating more awareness in transport, intelligent transport sector, it will be a service not only to this country and to the other SAARC countries also. And then God knows from where what takes a quantum jump somewhere else. That's what we are looking for. And I also feel by and large, when it comes to technology and academics, I'm sorry, I belong to academics for all these years. Unfortunately, academic institutions many a times are now taking reactive, reactions. Something is needed and then they come in. I think academic institutions are always expected to be proactive. We should anticipate the things at least a decade in advance and then take proactive action. That is what helps the industry. Because the industry on the show floor does not really have time at times to be away from these things and do that. And in that context, I requested our colleague, Professor Puran Pandey, to look at this and try and see, can we do something proactively, creating the manpower which will be required 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, creating it now. Because if we don't create it now, it's too late. That's the problem of intelligence, and we have to work accordingly. So in that context, we decided to work together, and here's a starting piece of paper called a MoU. But the point is to try and create awareness, try and create some small research projects which can help the improvement of transport all over the SAARC countries. Take ITS India at least visible to the SAARC countries as a whole, and make sure maybe tomorrow we have ITS SAARC or something. I can't say that. But look at the phenomena when you are when Uber changed the transportation world, nobody believed it. that a company which does not have any car will become the largest car company in the world. And now when cyber taxis have been announced by MESSE, I don't know what are the other factors which are coming into the picture where you will ring up and a taxi will automatically come and hand at your door and you will sit and give direction and you will go. When that has become a reality or is going to become a reality very soon, what sort of technology manpower will be required, what sort of research manpower required will be anybody's imagination. And that is where I'm here to call upon all the industry friends here. We will be open to all small collaborations with ITS India and make sure that we can do something for making this faster, making this better, making this safer in this country. I thank Akhilesh, Shri and all other ITS colleagues of mine to give me an opportunity to interact with such an august audience from all over the world. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.
I request Akhilesh sir to say thanks for the sir because sir will be leaving, and for the moment I request Mangla ma'am, please. Mangla ma'am first, please. And Akhilesh sir, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mangla ma'am, for facilitating Gurwal sir. Thank for your encouraging words, sir, and we'll definitely try to live to your words, what expectation you have set for ITS India Forum. Definitely we'll try to deliver as much as possible, and I'm fortunate that this complete houseful presence of people, the industry experts, and such a big expo by TrafficTech. The interest of people which we are visualizing since yesterday is phenomenal. I'm sure industry also wants to take it forward as much as possible. We had to transform, we had to reshape the mobility in India, and with the blessings of everyone, we will definitely do it. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and guiding us. Now I'll request our co-chair, ITS India Forum, Mr. B.N. Puri, to take the proceeding further, sir. Mr. Puri. Mr. Puri is Director, SA Institute of Transport Development. Prior to that, he was Principal Advisor at Niti Aayog and worked in various ministries at different capacities as a secretary, additional secretary, and he was a MD of multiple. They back the Golden Quadrilateral scheme, which was announced by the BJP government, Mr. Vajpayee, the Prime Minister. Sir was one of the key person who has adopted that entire program, worked out how it will be financed and what will the modalities. So he has been a key person in the transportation. So I will request sir to.
Thank you very much, Akhilesh, for very generous introduction. When I was coming to this place, I was thinking, how should I begin? But my task was made easier by Professor Agarwal. You see, there is a shloka in Sanskrit, the meaning of which is do as wise men do. So I start with what Professor Agarwal has said. Akhilesh had mentioned roti, kapda, makan, and Professor Agarwal differed from him. Both were substantially right, but not entirely. So, what was reason is actually transportation. I give an instance. Akhilesh has talked about NHTP. When NHTP was being made, NHTP was conceived. At that time, when we made a presentation to then Prime Minister, Mr. Vajpayee, there was a dispute that how the cess which was imposed on fuel would be used. We were saying that it should be used for transportation sector, whereas Ministry of Finance was saying it should be used for other things also. There, Mr. Vajpayee has said, wherever I have gone for election, it was roti, kapda or makan was one thing, but sadak, bijli was also there. So therefore, for politicians, it has always been very, very important, transportation. Millennium Development Goals didn't mention about transportation. We protested as a transport professionals. They included now SDG. Transport holds a very, very high place in the whole thing. If you see, everywhere is transportation. So far is the significance of transportation. Now let me talk about ITS. We at the ITS India Forum at Asian Institute of Transport Development had a dream. That dream needs to be fulfilled. You see, there is so much has been talked about that in transportation. The government of India has taken so many schemes, right from NHTP to Sagarmala and Bharatmala and other things also. Then we have got National Logistic Policy. Then we had PM Gati Shakti program. All those put together, as Akhilesh was mentioning, this fell short of it, and we still have problems of congestion and all that. I will give you a few statistics. We lose 10 million rupees, 10 billion rupees every year account of accidents. We lose about 25,000 crores or 25,000 billion, rupees is the total cost of the road, the replacement cost. And 1% decrease in that will make a lot of difference. Then on congestion, we have about more than 800 billion rupees lost every year. These are the situations, and the situation has been summed up by one couplet which I would like to recite by one poet, that बहुत अरमान मिले और बहुत अरमान पूरे हुए पर फिर भी कम हुए. The reason is that all sort of things we did, but still these things were not properly done, properly met the objective. So we have to go ahead with some sort of things. Now I mentioned about that there is so much saving which could be done because of ITS, and if we can do, forget about the target which Shri has mentioned. And I don't think we'll be able to achieve by 2030, but even if we achieve 1% of it, say fatalities, we save life of 4 people every day. Only for 1%, if we do 1%, here we are talking of so many percentage removing everything, 1% will do. And in terms of saving to the country, it will be 2.5 billion. That means about $30 billion every this thing. Same is the case with others. I will not bore you with these statistics, but these are the things which ITS can do it. And that is the dream which we want to fulfill. The dream for policymaker, dream for us, dream for a mother who loses his children, the dream for those who have lost their kith and kin. So for that, they must be dreaming that had we got this opportunity, had we got this thing, our children would have been saved. So these are the humanitarian touch which is more important than the statistics which I got. But I also believe that statistics is important. will not, I said, give. These are targets very easy to, these figures are very easy to mention and also highlight the significance of it. But let me tell you, it is not all hunky-dory. It's easy to say these words which I have spoken. It is easy to quote those figures which I did. It is very easy to make a pilot project. When it is scale up and do at a national level, it's quite difficult. So we have to align. We are very conscious of the fact that we have to align with the policies of the.
Sure, with the guidance of people like you, the eminent policymakers for the government of India, you will be always lighting us, giving us the correct direction where to lead for, and we will deliver. We have this passion to reshape the mobility in India, and will try our level best. Thank you very much for the words of wisdom, sir, and guidance. Ladies and now we have with us Mr. Akio Yamamoto. He is the Secretary General of ITS Asia Pacific, a very renowned transport expert. He has come from all the way Japan for this attending this conference. We are all grateful to him for this gesture. I request Mr. Akio Yamamoto to please address the global perspective and give more address.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akio Yamamoto, Secretary General of ITS Asia Pacific and President of ITS Japan. I'm very much honored to have an opportunity to give a presentation today. Before diving into the detail, I'd like to ask you one question. Do any of you here know what ITS stands for politically? ITS stands for Intelligent Transportation System. This term was introduced to the world from Japan at the second ITS World Congress in Yokohama, 1994. The world system is not only a technical system, but also the process and mechanism of it. I'm always impressed by the sense of the person who came up with this acronym ideas. Today, I'd like to share with you another important meaning of ideas. From my individual perspective, it is indirect meaning and characteristic of the world, contributing in solving social issues and cooperation and collaboration in the field of transportation. In the IT field, there are, of course, areas of competition related to business and technology among companies, but I believe that true essence of ITS lies in the cooperative area that is beyond competition among companies. The main characteristic of ITS is how to think together about mechanisms, facilities, and resources and so on to be used by people. Contribution to solving social issues. Using this viewpoint, I have organized the current ITS activity areas into this table on the right side. ITS is a solution that contributes to safe and secure mobility, enjoyment, freedom of movement, carbon neutrality, disaster resilience, and so on. Out of this, today I'd like to focus on reduction of traffic accidents. I believe that road safety is the most important thing of ITS. And this year's Smart Mobility Conference here, road safety has been the main topic as far as I saw and I heard yesterday. So now, I'd like to introduce the history and the status of road safety in Japan and ITS Japan's initiatives. This is the number of traffic fatalities per 100,000 people in major countries around the world. The data is from the World Bank, but since the year of the survey differ from country to country, and the data is a bit dated. However, we can identify each country's position around the world. Japan has a relatively low number compared to other countries, but we have to recognize that the downward trend seems to have bottomed out. India, by the way, still does not have a low number of traffic fatalities. In fact, number of deaths in traffic accidents in 2022 was as high as 160,000 per year. I saw this number so a lot of times during the yesterday sessions. This chart shows the history of traffic fatalities in Japan. With the expansion of motorization from around 1960, the number of traffic fatalities increased dramatically. After that, as the blue dotted line shows, the number has decreased since 1992, and by 2022, the number was dropped to about 2,600. I can say that this is a result of Japanese government's persistent implementation of various countermeasures after 1992, as you can see here. Currently, Japan formulates a basic plan for traffic safety every 5 years. The current 5 years plan, covering the period from 2021 to 2025, it set the goal of reducing the number of traffic fatalities to less than 2,000 by the end of next year, the fifth year. You can see the key countermeasure of perspectives being promoted in current basic plan as shown from number 1 to number 5. So currently, there is a strong emphasis on pedestrians and cyclists in comparison to vehicle safety itself, which was one of the key points in the past. This is due to the ratio of pedestrian and cyclist fatalities, which is higher than drivers. Although these countermeasures have been pursued now, the number of fatalities in 2023 was 2,678. It's a slight increase from 2022, and the number has currently gone up. While it is doubtful that we will achieve our goal next year, ITS Japan would like to contribute to the goal of zero traffic accidents in the future. However, there is no one-size-fits-all solution that will dramatically reduce traffic accidents in Japan now. Therefore, ITS Japan has launched an initiative called ITS Smart Pole Project to strengthen current countermeasures. We believe our activity will be effective for those countermeasures in blue. The key point is the reduction of accidents and the intersection with the traffic signals by utilizing advanced technologies. IT Smart Pole is roadside infrastructure equipped with several functions to realize cooperative vehicle infrastructure ITS systems, as shown in the figure on the right. The sensor detects road users such as bicycles and pedestrians. The detected information will be transferred to LED display here V2X wireless load, so that accessing vehicles can be notified of the existence of bicycles, pedestrians, and other vehicles. Now, let me show you a video of a field test using the ITS Smart Pole. ITS Smart Pole is multifunctional roadside unit that enable cooperative VTI as shown here. The ITS Smart Pole will contribute to not only the reduction of traffic accidents that can be used for various services, such as responding to disasters and watching over children and seniors. The main equipment consists of sensor, VTX radio unit, control unit, and LED display. IT smartphone is available in a variety of shapes that can be chosen based on the environment. IT smartphone demonstration tests are currently being conducted in various locations in Japan. Let me introduce the several peer use case which is being done in Japan. First, there is a case of safe driving support and ambulance operation support. This is a complex intersection where 5 roads intersect with no traffic signals and accident frequency occur. The IT smartphone detects pedestrians, cars, and emergency vehicles approaching the intersection using sensors and display the information on LED display to alert passing vehicles of their presence. Next is a case of safe driving support for shuttle buses. An IT smartphone detects a jogger and an intersection with no traffic lights and poor visibility, and using satellite communication to notify the shuttle bus of the jogger's presence before the jogger arrives. Next, this is not IT smartphone service, but B2B service that aim to reduce accidents at the same intersections through communication between cars and bicycles. Each car and bicycle is equipped with onboard device. By informing each other of the other presence, the risk of collision is reduced. It also has function to express gratitude to other parties. I hope you have gained overview of the IT smartphone. The IT smartphone is now being studied by companies from various industries together, including automotive, city infrastructure, telecommunications, trading company, and various transportation-related organizations. This is one of the features of the IT Japan. So far, I have explained the IT smartphone from the perspective of the next 5 years or so. IT Japan has also started to study a vision for future ICT infrastructure. Up to now, Japan has developed IT's functions separately, such as traffic signals, ETC, IT's radio unit, and emergency call, and so on. As roadside equipment, networks, semiconductors, and AI continue to evolve, it is necessary to consider the transportation infrastructure of society as a whole, rather than the functional unit. The key point is to consider the expansion and the integration of the information processing provision infrastructure, including computing resources, communication resources, and AI functions. I believe the similar activities are being discussed in India, so it would be wonderful if we could share and discuss information related to ITS other than safety as well, so that we can improve our mutual activities. Lastly, let me introduce 2 ITS events that ITS Asia Pacific is co-hosting. One is the ITS World Congress, and the other is ITS Asia Pacific Forum. The ITS World Congress will be held in Atlanta, in the United States next August. The website is already open and exhibition reservation available. The deadline for papers and the sessions will be December 6th. Detailed contents can be accessed by searching ITS Atlanta 2025. MESSE is the Asia Pacific Forum, which will be held in May next year at Suwon in Korea. Reservation for exhibition have already been made. Registration will begin in December, and the registration for papers and session will begin in January. Detailed contents can be accessed by searching I'm looking forward to ITS India Forum, which September ITS event with us. I'm looking forward to the ITS India Forum becoming a member of ITS Asia Pacific next year in May. So please consider participating in those ITS events. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for your presentation of the Japanese have reduced the fatalities and how the graph is showing improvement year after year, and your things on how the ITS can help in reducing the fatalities. Really pleasure to see it. You see, as a matter of fact, some of the slides which you have shown, I used to use for my presentation. Here is the Japanese, how the Japanese have changed the scenario, how the USA have changed the scenario, how the Australia has done it. And particularly when we talk of the best practices. Of course, my first slide is always what Mrs. Benz driving in Germany. Mr. Benz is credited with putting the automobile on the road. They're the first person who did it. When Mrs. Benz drove that particular machine, it had no steering wheel. So they all went to the protector of the region and said, and there the first of all the traffic rules were formulated. That was the first thing. That followed by the slide which you were presented here. So it was quite interesting and very educative. Mr. Yamatomo has talked about the ITS work. ITS India Forum is putting its pavilion here in Atlanta. And anybody and other industry people who wants to put up their stall, they are welcome, and we are putting everything on our website. Thank you very much for your very wonderful presentation. Now I will like to invite Mr. R. Shankya, Additional Director General Telecommunications. He is expert in communication and information technology. He has done considerable work in this area. I was talking to him when we were sitting down below, and I'm very keen to listen. I think he will educate us on the issue which confront the transport sector as.
Good morning to all. Distinguished panelists on the dais. Let me congratulate the ITS India Forum first to have this organized. The great thing what we learned from the previous speakers to link transportation with the humanity, whether this is part of essential or not. I'm also, I think, on the same line. I don't think the humanity, the day it would have gone in movements, the requirement of movement was already there. There was always a need of transportation. May not be in the same what we are looking or thinking today. But the transport has been the part of living of the humanity since the humanity exists. Now, having said so, let me try to link the things of current intelligent world with the transportation system. And why the person from the electronics and communication working in the Ministry of Communication for years is coming with the transport, which used to be a part of the transport ministry, right? As you all are here, if you move from the entry of the gate in this hall, you will observe that many of the exhibitors are working in the field of sensors, working in the field of cameras, working in the field of automation in terms of edge computing or in the centralized or in the cloud computing kind of requirements. And then this is the place where the things have changed. So today when you talk of the transportation system, it does not remain just infrastructure of having the roads alone. It doesn't control itself or limits itself only to the, say, traffic lights. Nowadays, the transportation is having multifaceted requirements. We all know the number of deaths taken by the road accident. I'm sure most of you know 1.19 million per annum. And if you convert that with the respective other aspects, how the economy suffers, how the society suffers, how the individual suffers is beyond any words. And in that scenario, what is our role is to work together. I just happened to be there on some of the stalls there. And we were talking, is the 300 meters distance is good enough to gaze and then calculate and provide the information at the display board? Right? So fundamentally looks nice, 300 meter is good distance, and by the time the people approaches the display boards, probably he will be able to take care of the safety and security of the person or the vehicles together. But fact remains, nowadays, the vehicles which are coming are having the capability to drive even up to 300 kilometers per hour. So in that sense, the distance of 300 meters becomes a problem. Now, multiple facets what I'm trying to bring into. One is you have to have the standardization, as Professor Nitin also mentioned that. Standardization is required so the economy of scale can benefit the entire world. Today, no technology can be built only for one country or a specific region. Whatever technology you develop, it has to be global in nature. And global in nature comes when you have two specific things. One is standard and another is interoperability. So these are the two primary things which have to be taken care. Now, to ensure that we are not lagging behind, you are along with the entire globe. The requirement is whatever worldwide is happening, we shall become a party to there at the time of not adoption, but at the time of conceptualization, at the time of the standardization, in fact at the level of the pre-standardization. And here, on behalf of the Government of India's Department of Public Education, I will invite all of you to be part of the ICT standardization and the pre-standardization processes, wherein whatever you develop can go global. One. Number two, you should not unnecessarily spend your time, energy and the efforts for something which is already existing worldwide. These two informations are known in the industry through my colleague in the ITU, Ms. Maithili, who looks after the work at the International Telecommunication is there. So this is requirement. Another thing which is coming for the concern from the communication side is, once people feel there are lot many RF detectors, there are lot many radiations as well. So probably when we have every pole with the say transmitter receivers, when we have every furniture with the transmitter receivers, even in my cycle, bike, my car, my body, if everything has the transmitters, how does it affect my life? It's a fundamental question. Because everybody is not RF engineer, and many times the feelings of the perceptions may be true or untrue. But thing is, again, two requirement comes. How to eliminate the fear from the mind of the people that whatever these RF detectors or RF, the equipments, maybe in the form of transmitter, receiver, or being put, are safe to the humanity or to every individual human. We shall come out with the possible results reports at the regular interval. We have to run the campaigns to ensure that if I'm putting the pole at every, say, even if I said the 100 meter, people shall not feel fear that this is going to cause any kind of the illness to the citizens. For that, we have to again work together to remove this fear from the mind of the people. And another thing, of course, which is the work of my department, that is to find out the most suitable frequency or the spectrum on which the equipments are supposed to work. Why that is important? You as an entrepreneur try to work in the field and develop sensors with the greatest efficiency and effectiveness. And unfortunately, if that device having the transceivers working on a specific frequency is already pre-allotted to some other functions, it will not be possible for you to use your entire effort into the market, at least in the Indian market. So it is necessary for us to let us understand that what are the worldwide bands which are being utilized for the transportation sector and how best we can work together to ensure that your work is in the direction wherein we are aligned with the entire world to have the same frequency bands. So we do not have any kind of the interfaces or the interfere with the any other uses. There again, we are open to work with you. The DOT provides all sort of certifications, help, assistance in this direction. And let me also share one thing. The department has come out with the 500 crores R&D funds, and it is open in the ICT field for any vertical, including the transport. So kindly take advantage of that. Come out with your innovations, with new ideas, and try to use that fund. Once you are able to use it, you are able to develop it. We do support even the exhibition of such products internationally through the different schemes of the government. Take advantage of them, take your technology global, and whole world is waiting for you to have that. So these are a few things I think from the Department of Communications side I wanted to share with you. With regard to the goals set by ITS India Forum, yes, they are very ambitious, but nobody stops us even dreaming more than the sky. Unless you dream, you can think, and direction is not possible. So thinking comes only when the dream comes. So let us target that, okay, we will be able to achieve 75% reductions in the say, that to 50% in terms of the accidents. And I think individually I am very much convinced that anything can be achievable. Only I think if we follow the principles what we used to follow in the schools. In Indian schools, you know, in the Sanskrit mantra which all of us had learned. Om Sena Bhavatu Sahana Bhunattu Savirya Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhin Mastu Ma Phaleshu. And why it is? The concept is very simple. That let us learn together. Let us work together. Let us enjoy together. Do not have any enmity. Once we work together, I think there's nothing in this world which cannot be achieved. With this, I extend my sincere thanks to the ITS and wish success to this entire work of the community and this thing, and invite to join DOT in your endeavor. Whatever we can help, we are there. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Mr. Shakya, for encouraging words. Yes, we'll continue to have dreams and we'll also fulfill it, as Klesh had mentioned. And it's always better to have a bigger targets, but we'll take a small steps to achieve those targets day by day. Rightly there are certain issues regarding safety as well as standardization. Of course, getting up, these are the things which are also confronting us, and we have set up committees to go into details on these issues and hopefully come with your support and the government support to talk of collaboration. Collaboration is the main thing in this any areas, and most importantly, collaboration and support is required from the government. It's the government who determines the policy. It's the government who sets the targets. It's the government who helps and facilitates those achievements. Thank you very much once again for your encouraging words, and let me invite Ms. Pragati Maidan she is the project officer International Tablet Unification Union, and she will speak on these areas of which reference are also been given by.
So hello everyone, maybe we wait for the presentation to go up. So my first question to you all is, how many of you have heard of the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union? Okay, not many. So maybe this presentation will provide an insight into some of our work. So to start off with just a brief introduction to the ITU, we are the UN Agency for Information and Communication Technologies. We have 194 member states, and what makes us unique is that we also kind of bridge the gap and bring in private sector as well as academia members. So it's a very unique ecosystem, and a brief intro into what the ITU does as well. So we have three sectors at the ITU, and as Mr. Shakya, he gave a sort of sneak peek into what we may do. So the first is the ITU-R, which is the radiocom sector, which focuses on radio spectrum allocation. Second is ITU-D, which focuses on bridging the digital divide. And last but not the least, the Standards Bureau, the ITU-T, which focuses on establishing international standards really relating to technology, but on various sectors across various domains, of which intelligent transport systems forms an integral part. So just to give you an idea of the ITU strategic goals, so we focus on sustainable digital transformation and universal meaningful connectivity. So these are the two pillars on which all our work is based. So as I mentioned, we bring together our ITU membership, which is 194 member states, academia, private sector, to create international standards on a variety of topics. And we call our international standards recommendations, because that's exactly what they are. They're recommendations to various stakeholders to adopt them. So they're not mandatory to begin with. And we have over 4,000 ITU standards, which are currently in operation, currently in force. And on an average, we have at least one ITU standard, which is approved a day on an average. So we have, as I said, ITU is membership-based, so only private sector members who have joined ITU or academia members who have taken membership of ITU can influence the standards-making process. So in that regard, they get the opportunity to participate in these meetings, discuss with member states, influence the standardization process, and that also facilitates different kind of partnerships and also enables them to sponsor various ITU events. and it also gives them access and the idea of being able to potentially put their work on an international platform for others to see. So that gains them a certain level of visibility across when the standards making process is being conducted. So these are some examples of our members. So we have Hyundai, we have Volkswagen, we have Tata Motors, Qualcomm. So these are some of the members who are actively engaged in the standards making process at the ITU in relation to smart mobility or ITS. So just to give an overview, I hope I have time, just to give an overview of some of the standards activities or ITS related activities that we have at the ITU. So this is a small summary. I'll get to each one of them in a moment. So first is the collaboration on intelligent transport systems, communication standards. So this in itself is not a standards making platform, but it is a unique avenue which brings forth different standards developing organizations, and they talk about their standards, and this sort of prevents duplication of work. So we don't reinvent the wheel, as Mr. Shah said, we're not duplicating each other's work, and this also helps consolidate the different ITS related standards that we have today. And we have various SDOs which attend these meetings, ISO, IEC, IEEE, ETSI. Also from India, we have TSDSI. So it's a very unique ecosystem that we've built. And we refer to this as CITS. We hold about 2 meetings a year, and it's open to anyone. So anyone who's interested in the current standards terrain relating to ITS, this is your first guide. Maybe I'll skip that slide. So more recently, the CITS platform, it developed the expert group on communication technologies, which focuses on shaping the future of vehicular communications, V2X for automated driving systems. So this group, there's a meeting every month, so to speak, and it's also open to anyone, any stakeholder who's interested. You'll find details probably at the end of my slides. But this is also a more group that, if you're interested in ITS, you should try and attend some of the meetings. Maybe I'll skip that one. Then we also have the Future Network Car Symposium, which we used to co-locate with the Geneva Motor Show, but with the advent of COVID, we've gone online. We hold at least one of these events every year, and it focuses on a variety of aspects relating to smart mobility, automated driving, vehicular communications, and also standardization. So this is also a good insight into the ITU standardization space, and we also collaborate with other UN agencies like UNECE. So this is just to give you an idea of one of the sessions that we had on vehicular communications for automated driving, just at the last Future Network Car Symposium in 2024, my apologies. And now, as I briefly mentioned, ITUR in the ITU ecosystem, they play a very important role in radio spectrum allocation, which is very important for ITS. And these are some of the ITUR recommendations which are currently in force. My apologies, the text is a bit small, but just to show you an overview of the standards that we have currently in force. So, cybersecurity or security when dealing with intelligent transport systems is also very important. So we have a technical group, which is known as a study group, which is study group 17. And in the context of security for ITS, this is a group that develops standards on this topic. And just to give you an overview of the current standards that we have in force relating to security and intelligent transport system. So all these are the recommendations, or in other words, ITUT standards that have been developed by Study Group 17. Then we have another study group known as Study Group 12, which focuses on the objective methods for speech and audio evaluation in vehicles. And one of the important standards that the study group has developed is relating to e-call, especially in the event of a crash. So this is a very important standard that we talk always about when dealing with ITS. And these are some of the other standards that Study Group 11, Study Group 12 has developed within this domain. then we have another technical group, which is study group 20, which deals with the IoT aspects and smart city aspects of intelligent transport systems. And this is a very important intersection that we see between intelligent transport systems and cities, or smart cities. And this is a summary of the standards that we have relating to IoT, smart cities, and intelligent transport systems. Then we have study group 2, which focuses on standards relating to numbering, resources, and enabling car emergency communications calls. So also something which is very important in the aspect of vehicular crash, etc. And then we have, every so often we find that within the ITU ecosystem, we do not have the expertise to develop standard on a specific topic, in which case we have an alternate avenue to do that, which is known as a focus group. So in 2019 or 2018, there was a focus group which was developed on vehicular multimedia, and it focused on developing the car as a third living space after home and office. So focusing a lot on vehicular communications and infotainment. This focus group has completed its work, and it engaged over 200 experts who were not a part of the IT membership. So it was very important work that this focus group did at that point. And this focus group was created by one of our previous ITUT study groups, known as Study Group 16. So within this period, there are a variety of deliverables that are prepared, and these were endorsed as international standards. So if you look up our ITU database, they're all international standards. And then we had another very unique focus group that garnered a lot of interest, which was on autonomous and assisted driving. Because it's a topic which is at the top of the town. It's something that we also received a lot of interest from member states, from other UN sister agencies as well. But this focus group was unique because it focused on trying to assess the role of AI as a responsible driver. So it was not to lay forth any best practices on leveraging AI, but was to see whether AI would be able to take on that responsibility. So it was very unique in that sense. And maybe I'll skip this slide. So these are some of the recommendations that you'll find which are related to AI, vehicular communications, etc. This is my last slide. So one aspect that was brought forth relating to the use of AI was relating to road safety, and that was something that we hadn't looked at. And for this, we're currently collaborating with the UN Envoy for Road Safety, Jean Todt. For those of you who are familiar with Formula One, you will recognize him. And we're also actively collaborating with the UN Tech Envoy to look at road safety data, road safety infrastructure, and how AI could be used for crash response systems. So this is a global initiative which is currently still in action. So for anyone who wants to contribute to this dialogue, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to engage with you and see how to take that discussion forward. And I think one of the aspects that was mentioned was relating to the embedding of transport in the SDGs, and we fully concur. The MDGs didn't have that, but the SDGs do. Two core SDGs that we see are SDG 11.2 and 3.6. So it's a good growth from the MDGs, which did not acknowledge that transport was an integral part of our lives. I think that's pretty much my last slide. So thank you all for your attention. And if you need any information, I'm happy to provide it.
Well, all of our friends here, thank you very much for this thing. Now, let me now invite, we heard regulators, we heard the policymakers. Now let us invite the commission, Dr. Hon'ble, to educate us on what he thinks about ideas.
Thank you very much indeed. And I'm truly privileged to be here on two counts. The first one is that we have signed an MoU with ITS India Forum. And I come from SAARC University, where we had our president. He was very kind to agree to a proposition that ITS India Poland and the SAARC universities will work together to not only work in the area of providing education, but also try and figure out as to how to really work with cross-sectoral stakeholders. The beauty of SAARC University is twofold. One, that we are not under the Ministry of Education. We belong to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is MEA. So our minister is Mr. Dr. Nitin. The second one is that we are governed and run by all the 8 countries, including India, in its governance, its management, and running the process. So we are a regional international university where India has taken the lead back in 2010. And India holds the majority shareholding. We hold roughly about 58% of the shareholding in this university, and the rest is divided across the rest of the 7 countries. We were earlier operating out of a temporary university, out of Hon'ble, but now we have a sprawling campus of more than 100 acres. We have 8 faculties, and we are growing by the year. So very soon we are going to double down on a variety of initiatives which we are going to take, which will include not only teaching and research, but will also include pilot projects, COEs, artificial intelligence, and then working with industry and other stakeholders, including the UN. And what we are really going to be doing with ITS and the MoU that we have signed up today, there are 4 things basically. The first one is that being an academic institution, we are supposed to teach and research, which is fine. And in that particular realm of reality, we have agreed to explore the possibility of starting an MTech and MBA program, which would be central to transportation system, mobility, sustainability, and whole host of things. And I can also vouch that when we really look at any city or any town, we really look at 4 things basically. And I completely go with what my president said and subsequent speakers said. But I can tell you a city is all about 4 things. One, it's all about carbon. I mean, the more we drive, whether we drive on diesel or petrol or even EV, we are emitting some kind of a CO2 up in the atmosphere, which then comes and interferes with the clean and green and all kinds of things which even the UN understands. And I'm thankful to Matt Lee for highlighting what ITU has been doing. And I can tell you, Matt Lee, when climate treaty was signed in Paris, or when the SDG goals were being crafted, I was heading the UN Global Compact as the executive director. So I'm aware about the role, and very significant role which the UN plays in the overall fitness of the things and bringing people, stakeholders together. So thank you for putting his on the front. Second thing is all about energy. No matter what we do in a city or a town, we use energy, and therefore energy becomes the second thing. Third one is mobility. If we can't travel from one point to another, then we can't really do a job. And if we can't really do our job, we don't really add to the productivity or economic activity in the local area. That's the economic side of it. And then economic side of it is also very intrinsically embedded in what we do as a society. And I'm so happy that the Secretary General of ITS Japan mentioned about the fun part. If transportation is not fun, it's not transportation. So that was very, very. And then the final thing, the fourth pillar, is governance. City is governed by these 3 things taken together. And therefore, we have agreed to undertake programs and run courses, do research, and try and build an ecosystem whereby we can take the lead in trying to research or teach what will really become the reality in 5 years' time from now. Second thing that we are planning to do is to build the capacity of people in this very complex ecosystem. Transportation is not just one part. There are many pegs which are embedded, and therefore we want to really take the task together and see to it that we can build the capacity and provide training programs to those who need it, not for today or tomorrow, but for future. So keeping our eyes on the ball and trying to see what can really be done in 5 years' time from now. Third thing that we are trying to do is to develop material and curriculum which could be online, because everybody can't come to a university now. But can we really take the help of technology and put those things online and provide that information and knowledge to people who are out there to receive it? And finally, as we go along, we will also try and figure out as to how can we really set up a center of excellence on transportation, mobility, which will not only mean the transportation facility, but also look at merit part of it. For instance, how can we really make transportation green? How can we really try and use energy with more responsibility? How can we really stop emitting more of the CO2? And therefore, at the bottom of the thinking would be that while transportation is a very fine thing to look at and do whatever we would like to do together, but then how do we really make the transportation and the transport system as a whole cleaner and greener, which means moving towards net zero as we go along, and net zero before 2070, which is India's global pledge, that India will become a country of net zero is status by 2017. But I think if we can make it little earlier, that would be very, very good. So that's the broad plan. And the two partners, which is ITS India Forum and the SAARC University, which is International Public University at the regional level, we are coming together to identify those areas and issues and then try and address it. So thank you very much, ITS India, and I'm grateful to Akhilesh and Shivji and the whole community of industry people sitting here. So we are very happy to work together, and we promise that we will live up to the expectation which ITS India and SAARC University together will work together to fulfill that kind of broad goal together. And we will not only do it in India, but as my president said, who knows, ITS SAARC tomorrow. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pandey, for bringing out the facilitating issues that will facilitate sustainable transportation, and for your enthusiasm to help ITS to meet its targets. As we are talking of sustainability, we have a guest from abroad. Mr. Prada, who has come from Japan. He will speak of the sustainability, a topic which just touched by Dr. Pandey.
Thank you. My name is Takehiko Barada from ITS Japan, and Mr. Yamamoto is actually my boss, and he already explained about IKEA smartphone, but IKEA smartphone is kind of future infrastructure in Japan. But I'm talking about mainly Universal Traffic Management System, or UTMS. It's consisting of many subsystems, but easier for me to show you a video. But this video was created in 10 years ago, but it's 20 years more deployment history in Japan.
In order to reduce traffic accidents, congestion, and pollution, work is progressing in Japan today at fever pitch on development of universal traffic management systems. UTMS technology is fundamental to Intelligent Transport Systems, or ITS. UTMS systems are being implemented in areas all over Japan. Centering on Intelligent Traffic Control Systems, or ITCS, UTMS includes 8 main subsystems. Using ultrasonic and image-based vehicle sensors and IR beacons, ITCS systems provide a highly accurate and detailed picture of traffic conditions on the road. Based on this data, ITCS systems can control traffic signals in response to traffic conditions in the area, and it all happens in real time. Over a 4-year period from 2003 to 2006, ITCS and other intelligent signal control systems have demonstrated their potential. 2006 estimates indicate that there were 33,000 fewer traffic fatalities and injuries that year. CO2 emissions were cut by 480,000 tons, and intersection wait time was reduced by 230 million man-hours. Public Transportation Priority Systems, or PTPS, make bus transit smoother by extending green lights or making red lights shorter. This ensures that buses run on schedule and thus helps make public transit a more attractive option. EPMS stands for Environment Protection Management Systems. An EPMS system collects environmental data using roadside exhaust sensors and noise sensors. The system also uses traffic data gathered by infrared beacons, provides drivers with information about alternative routes, and limits inflow into congested areas. Pedestrian Information and Communication Systems, or PICS, are designed to aid the elderly and visually impaired. PICS provides voice guidance, telling pedestrians the names of intersections and the status of crosswalk signals. PICS can also extend a green light to help pedestrians cross safely. Fast Emergency Vehicle Preemption Systems, or FAST, can extend green lights or shorten red lights to ensure that ambulances and patrol cars arrive at the scene quickly. FAST also helps prevent accidents involving the emergency vehicles themselves. HELP stands for Health System for Emergency Life-Saving and Public Safety. Information on traffic accidents and other emergencies is routed through an operations center to police and other first responders, with details of the accident and the location of the vehicles involved.
They are deployed by a national police agency, and currently you can see all the 47 prefectures equipped all the UTMS, and the use of the ITCS traffic control center is our main system, and Tokyo's TCC is a kind of flagship GCC in Japan, and about 16,000 intersections are installed, and up to 50% is controlled from the center. And they, as you can see, they are already using AI for the prediction of the occurrence of the intersection, and also they're using a probe car data to reduce the maintenance cost or operation cost of the traffic detectors. And this is the numbers of whole Japan traffic control centers, traffic controllers, and traffic lights. And I finally explain about a little bit the TSSS. It's using V2X technology. And in the video, they said they use an infrared vehicle, but currently not only infrared, but we're using a 760 megahertz and V2X and V2B. I have no time to explain all the functions, such as collision, basically, to avoid a collision when the right turn, the oncoming car can't see by the bus, but V2X communication can find the oncoming car, then give a driver alert. And also, if pedestrian sensor installed, also give a notice to driver. To make it short, I introduce just the last one. So imagine seeing the vehicles alert. It's actually camera. Of course, not only in India and Japan, every country has the same situation for the emergency vehicle, like ambulance. And sometimes driver doesn't know about ambulance, but with system, the car can notice the oncoming ambulance, even the ambulance was hidden by the building, but you can see the safety stopped. And one thing, two things to point out. Even the technology is advanced, but still discipline is more important than technology. So not always technology can save lives, but driver discipline is sometimes more important. Okay, 760 megahertz system demonstrated in even Ahmedabad, India, 2019 by Ministry of Internal Affairs Education. Okay, almost. And the Japanese government is trying to move from several
and also the online food which we can be in our country. Thank you very much. I think with this we break, and if anybody has questions, we'll have it during tea break. They can already the person who has spoken here and I can answer from that. I think.
Thank you, panelists. May I request Mr. A.N. Narasimha, Vice President, Strategic Business Alliances, Prama India Private Limited, to felicitate the panel. I request Mr. Akio Yamamoto, Secretary General, ITS Asia Pacific. Mr. Akhilesh Srivastava, President, ITS for India Forum. Mr. B.N. Puri, Director, AITD and Co-Chair, ITS India Forum. Mr. Barada, ITS Japan. Ms. Maithili Menon, Project Officer, International Telecommunication United Union, Ubiquitous Connectivity for ITS. R. Shakya, Additional Director General, Telecommunications, Unity, Broadcasting for Efficiency and Safety of Transportation System. Sunil, President, IETE, former Additional DG, Prasad Hari. Dr. Puru Pandey, Dean, SAARC University. Request for a group photograph, sir.
That concludes the vote of thanks. I thank each and every dignitaries, all the speakers for making this a really grand success. First, in the absence of our president, South Asian University, we thank him very much because of in spite of the busy schedule, he has come here and he has allowed us, or he has given us the blessings in order to start our MoU ceremony, and it's a new beginning in the era of academy, especially in India and the SAARC region. Thank you very much to the Professor D.K. sir. And B.N. Sir, thank you very much for the chairing the session, for making this basically very lively. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks to the from Japan. We have the two brands, but one is he's heading the Asia Pacific as a Secretary General of the ITS forum. So thank you very much for coming and basically motivating us, and we are likely to become a member of the Asia Pacific forum next year. So we are under observation. Basically, there is a very stringent process in order to become the member of these forums. So we are very thankful for him for coming and for witnessing what we are doing. Thank you, sir. We have another, from Japan, who is basically in charge of the ITS Japan. Is Suparada. Thank you very much for coming. From telecommunication, we have one, MESSE from the International Telecommunication Union. Is the largest body of the telecommunication, and we are very nicely she has given us on the standards how we can basically take the advantage and given us the whole activities what the ITU is doing. ITU is something like a godfather for the telecommunication. So thank you very much for coming. We have Mr. Shatia, Additional Director General of the Telecom from the Department of Telecom, and he helped me to connect with the MESSE. And thank you very much, Shatia sir. Puran Pandey sir is he is the man who was instrumental in making this MoU and giving such a nice guidance and the framework for the roadmap how we can move forward. Thank you very much. And our chairman, Shri sir, always we get a blessing of him. Then Akhilesh sir, in the last but not the least, he is the man who is making this basically the ITS in India moving and giving the redefining it, basically giving the new dimension. Thanks to each and everyone. Thank you very much, sir. All the speakers, please can we go for the break and we can come for the.
And I'm from iOmniscient. iOmniscient is an Australian-based company, but we have more than 18 projects running in India. To start with MMTC, NDMC, GMR, and we built more than 10 smart cities in India, starting from Jaipur right up to Nagpur. So our biggest project is Nagpur, where we have more than 4,000 cameras in there. So today I'm here to talk about traffic management or optimizing traffic management. So intelligent roads. So what is intelligent roads all about?
Safe use and efficient use for data communication and communication. A lot of work has already been done.
People already know. People on the highway know the weather. And there are other ways in knowing the weather. Whether be from an app, for example. There are private sector apps which will tell you the
weather. The weather is there on the app, but that is just imaginary data. That is not the actual data which is being measured on the road. See, fog, visibility, and road temperature. Those we have to measure on the road only. See, India Meteorological Department, they have their meteorological center, but those are not on the road. They are on somewhere in the cities. So we have to take care of the safety, and we request you.
We can have a conversation. It is possible that we might have overlooked something. What we thought that it was of no use, but you can talk
about the AI and all. So we need to gather the data, right, to predict the future. So we request you to add the weight system in the ATMS policy once again. We are expecting positive feedback from your side.
Thank you. I request Mr. Sandeep Pawar, CEO and MD, Kent Intelligent Transportation Systems India Private Limited, to felicitate the panel. Dr. A.P.D. Dwivedi, Senior Director and Head, Transport Engineering Department, BIS, Government of India. Mr. Mitra Sen Verma, BIS, Government of India. Mitra Sen. Ms. Clarissa Hayward, Business Head, India and Sri Lanka, IOB. Harsh Nisar, Advisor IT, NHAI. Rahul Sabar Taker, Business Head, Traffic and Enforcement, Ador Power Grid.
Now, what are there? Lot of state government departments, solid waste management, mining, they started adopting these standards and mandated fitment of such standard devices. And the major commercial vehicle manufacturers like Tata Motors, Leyland, though National Permit Act is only supposed to have it as per mandate, but they started fitting in their inline, as their inline fleet print during the manufacturing stage on all 100% vehicles. Objective was beyond what government mandate is. They realized that it would give them a connected car platform. It would give them an opportunity to manage the issue. You know, nowadays almost all the vehicles are driven by electronic control unit, and the rollout of models are pretty fast. So probably every 6 months you have a new model, new version, new variant coming up on road, and all are electronically controlled, and end of the day there is a firmware sitting in the vehicle or a software sitting in the vehicle. Now when you roll out so fast and there is a software, there are issues, there are teething issues, there are bugs. Earlier we used to go through a recall. If you remember, we used to get a call from Maruti ji, आपका गाड़ी को लेके आइए, थोड़ा ये problem है, हमें ठीक करना है. Now over the air, lot of issue related issues they realize, the vehicle manufacturer realize they can correct it over the air. They don't need to call it physically. Second part, they realize that all this data through a bit of intelligent algorithm, nowadays we call everything AI, you can really detect your new design rollout's performance. Third is, as because at the end of the day you are getting all the data into your server, you can give a lot of value-added service to your customers. So Tata Motors have Fleet Edge for their fleet customers. Leyland has ILR, so on and so forth. I will not take more names. So while it all started with mandate, but it started, finding its own use cases and utility and started expanding beyond mandate. So today in India, if we really look at it, we have probably 4 million plus vehicles already deployed with this. Now this is one of the key aspects we need to keep it in mind as implementation. Do we say now do away with all this or do something else, or we find a midway? So there are a lot of interactions, workshops, deliberations happening, and two things are very clear, that for doing a tolling through GPS, we need an improvised version of this AIS 140. Okay, because it was not originally conceptualized for tolling. Second is, what is the exact gap of what we have today and what we need to, where we need to reach. And third is a cutoff date from where all the new technology will get deployed with the industry readiness of other parameters of ecosystem, which my co-partners will talk. And in the meantime, what is the bridge or roadmap for the existing deployment? So what we have realized is the basic improvement required in current standard, the existing devices with bit of firmware change can manage. probably there is one requirement from legal angle that you need to, whether you have sent the data to server or not, you still need to keep the data for 5 days. That's a legal requirement came in the tolling requirement in case to have solve any dispute, anything. There the existing devices will fall bit short. Rest of the things can be managed so that we don't need scrap so much of national investment already gone behind it. So, in parallel, as I said, the amendment of AS 140 standard started. The amendment 3 draft is released probably now at least 6 times for wide industry consultation, one version released, again consultation, another version released, so on and so forth. Now the final draft is out and we expect it to get finalized very shortly. The proposed start dates are for the existing mandated segment and retrofitment is 1st of October 2025. For OEM fitment, which are coming as a factory fitment for the non-mandated commercial vehicle is 1st October 2026. And for passenger vehicle, whether it will be mandated or not, we don't know. But the manufacturer may take another 2 years to do it. These are some of the open points which are under closure, and this has to be worked out between all the ministry and stakeholders, because at the end of the day it has to talk to the toll charger, and at the end of the day it has to work with the whole ecosystem, and some part like data security, communication between the issuer bank and the toll charger and this service provider, how the whole communication will happen, which is getting finalized, and we are excited to see very quickly the next phase of implementation of the AS 140 and OEM. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for telling to the OBU and whether it can be used or not. Of course, there are a lot of things has to be done in OBU to actually use it for tolling. I'm sure government is working on that. Since we don't have much time to deliberate, we'll ask these more clarification during our question things. I will request Koils to just tell about the what they perceive, what the flow chart, share their experience on GNSS based tolling system.
So in the meantime, hello, my name is Peter Kozej and I represent SkyToll. We are a leader in intelligent transport solutions. We're based in Europe, but we are establishing our presence here in India and also in Singapore. Some of you may be familiar with us from the GNSS workshop, international workshop on GNSS tolling, which has taken place in July this year. In July this year, where we participated and we provided the NNJI with some inputs on the aspects of GNSS tolling system, which is to be deployed in India. Here in this expo, we are present also with our sister company Vitronic, which specialized in road safety equipment using advanced machine vision approaches. So my colleague from Vitronic will have a later presentation focused on the advancement in roadside equipment, which are making it cheaper, more efficient, and more green. Talking about the GNSS tolling, which is the main topic of this panel and also my presentation, we have conducted a study on the viability of the GNSS tolling solution for India. So in the spring of this year, with our local partners, we conducted this study on the road, which took place between Hisar and Panipat section of the highway. And the aim was to validate the viability of the GNSS tolling solution for India. So what we did, we used local vehicles equipped with vehicle location tracking onboard units, such as the AIS 140 already mentioned on previous presentation, and we tested their viability for the GNSS tolling. And I'm really proud to say that we were very quick to develop this pilot, and the results were highly positive. So with this confirmed the possibility of the GNSS tolling, but on the other hand, it also highlighted some of the deficiencies the current generation of the devices do have. These were mentioned in the previous presentation. So let me start my presentation. This is just for context. The India's economy is growing very fast these years. So for this growing economy, India is also needing a growing transportation network. To support this network, enhancement or evolution or expansion of the tolling solution is needed. So India already has a working tolling system, which is working quite well, but now it's needed to expand on this system and maybe bring it to next level. So therefore, the main topic of this presentation is GNSS tolling solution. When I say GNSS tolling, what we mean is a tolling solution that serves the purpose of charging the road users for using the road, and is doing this with help of satellite constellations. So this solution is satellite-based. We say it's GNSS because it's not using only the GPS positioning system, but also, for example, now in India. So, how does this system works? As it was mentioned in the previous presentation, the main part of the system is the onboard unit. This is the positioning device that is tracking the vehicle movements. So let me explain you how this works on a short story of a driver. So imagine a truck driver who enters his work vehicle in the morning. He starts the engine, and the onboard units is already installed in this vehicle. This is already true for tens of millions of vehicles in India today. So once he starts the engine, the onboard unit pings the satellite constellations, grabs its position, and starts watching the movements of the vehicle. Now, as the vehicle is driving on the road, the onboard unit stays standby. It's sleeping and waiting for its time. When the driver merges the vehicle to the highway, the onboard unit detects by geofencing, detects that the vehicle joined the highway and starts recording the positions of the vehicle every few seconds. So now, driver didn't have to stop on any gantry, didn't have to stop at any barrier, and this highlights the main advantage of this system that was already mentioned, which is called free flow. The vehicle is free to move and can use the highway without any stopping. So the vehicle, the onboard unit records these positions, as I said, and then reports them back to the central system. This is the core, this is the heart of the system, where most of the processing is taking place and most of the flexibility of the system is performed. So this central system gathers the data from all the onboard units, moving the actual recognition of the roads traveled. So on one side there are raw positional data coming in, and during the processing the central system detects the actual roads that are traveled. So once these detections are made, the onboard system, the central system, can calculate the toll. So the toll is calculated based on the distance driven. This is the first and foremost most important factor, but other factors can be taken into consideration, such as vehicle weight or vehicle emissions, vehicle size, and so on. So once this calculation is performed, the information is passed to the acquired bank or other payment instrument, and the driver or vehicle owner is notified about the toll, about the price he paid. He receives a message on his phone or via email listing the road traveled, price to be paid, and linking a map of the journey.
We can request to make it a quicker. Next 2 minutes because
okay.
Have a constraint of time.
All right. So let me jump to the benefits of the GNSS tolling system. So the key benefit was already mentioned. This is the free flow of the vehicles. So less congestion, less vehicles stuck in the traffic. Another very important benefit is that the system is precise and fair. This means the distance traveled is calculated or measured very precisely. When the vehicle travels just a small part of the highway, it pays for the small part of the toll. And the final benefit of the system is its flexibility and scalability. So compared to the current FASTAG system, it's much easier to scale to the new states, new highways, or new types of roads. This system doesn't need, once the onboard units are in the place and the central system is in the place, this system doesn't need much more roadside equipment and installation on gantries and etc. So this is just, I will go quickly to the rest of my presentation so we don't waste any time. This is the highlight of various types of onboard units. One is AIS-140 used in India, the other one is onboard unit used in Europe, which has a display and so on. And the third one is actually an application on a smartphone, which can serve as an onboard unit, given it has all the sensors already in place. Now, for one final slide, this is how we imagine the system in India. So the schematics you saw before, this was the simple schema fit for a small state, but India is much bigger. So for India, it will need several of these systems operated by toll chargers, and the vehicles and the onboard units will be operated by other entities. So let me finish. GNSS-based tolling system is modern, state-of-the-art method. It's already used in Europe and in several countries in the world. It's now coming to India. It's fair, it's accurate, and it's scalable. And we, as a SkyToll, we have already experienced developments of many such systems. So we are ready to give our knowledge to India, to empower local companies, and we are looking for partners in making this true.
Thanks, Doje, for giving the complete overview of how GNSS tolling will be working, what are the different components, flow, and how charging is done. Fantastic. As I said earlier, theoretically it looks very good. Technology per se, I won't say is a much challenge, already implemented and done. But implementation on ground, making a free flow system to actually work, it's very challenging. And considering the compliance we follow of the rules on road, I mean, road safety is one example where people knowing the rule, they do not follow the rules. So how are we going to do the free flow tolling, and how the money is going to be recovered from the toll, because free flow people are just cruising through. So those are things. So before I take Mr. Bhutani, he will be telling about the high speed thing. I will go to Akash Sinha because they did the pilot on 2 Indian roads. So let me hear, but Akash, very quickly, you can share your experience of piloting in India.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Akash. I am from TaxiDev. We are a software company as well as a hardware company, but today, because the topic is GNSS and MLFM, we will only talk about the software part that we developed. We did the pilot at Panipat, Hisar, as well as there is an ongoing pilot on Bangalore-Mysore. TrafficInfraTech is a 40 years old organization. We have been here in India since last, I think, 12 years now. We are doing tolling as well as the advanced traffic management system. So I'll run fast. We are part of the ISA group as well as the HIG group. In India, we have a super team of 160 people in the software and hardware. We do a lot of customizations. I'll talk about the software part. So customization in center clearing house, MSI, as well as the multi-lane free flow. I'll not talk about toll charger. Charger word is of IHMCL, so I'll only talk about the part that we developed here in India. We are also doing the master system integrator. We are one of the largest. We are handling approximately 450,000 transactions a day in MSI. We are doing Purvanchal, Ahmedabad, Vadodara, and the third, which will be very soon live, is Hyderabad Outer Ring Road. I will also talk about the MLFF because MLFF and GNSS, I don't know which one will come first. But multi-lane free flow is also one solution that I think NHAI, IHMCL should look into, because on our hybrid tolling also the first thing that we are right now trying to do is the free flow, which is not actually the free flow with the gantry based, but it is somehow a free flow where the barrier is open, the vehicles are moving, the operator is not there. We did this first pilot I think 2 years back on Delhi Gurgaon, one of the most heavy traffic area, where we installed cameras and readers. We are very happy that Shri Nitin Gadkari Sahab called us to see this demo. We demonstrated that demo in front of him, and with an accuracy of approximately 99%. Coming to the GNSS part, we did a pilot with the Sky Toll at Panipat Hisar. And as I told you, the second one is we are already ongoing on Bangalore-Mysore. So Bangalore-Mysore, we are doing it with B-Mobile. B-Mobile is also one of the leading GNSS provider. They have done multiple projects in Belgium, Germany, Netherlands. We are partnered with them for Indian projects. So let's talk about now. I'll talk about the software that we are talking about, the central charging software. So this is the software that we developed here in India. It's 100% Indian software, and this software we are using it for GNSS as well as multi-lane free flow. So this is a normal toll plaza. We all know that all the data is coming to the toll plaza. It is going to the NPCI. This is our today's tolling solution. Let's talk about the GNSS now. So how this GNSS, I call this as hybrid GNSS, because the toll plaza will, as on date, remain there. So how it's going to work? The central charging software will connect to multiple highways. So it will not be restricted to one toll plaza. So we will see a particular toll plaza as not as a toll plaza, but as a particular stretch. So consider Delhi Mumbai. We consider it multiple toll plazas. Now it will be a single stretch, say Delhi to Mumbai, or we can bifurcate it in Delhi to Vadodara and Vadodara to Mumbai. So this type of solution will be there. So consider that multiple vehicles are traveling on these highways. Now some will have the OBUs, some will only have the FASTag, and everybody will have their LPR, license plate reader. So the OBU central server will be there, who will be connected through the satellite GPS with all the vehicles. And these all vehicles, whichever are there with OBU, will send this data to OBU server. Above this OBU server, already our match mapping software is there. Match mapping software is collecting all these data. As soon as any vehicle comes to a designated stretch, this match mapping software informs the central charging software, that there is a vehicle which has come on this designated highway. The central charging software, this is the development that we did. So this software captures this data, keep it to them, because the next input that we are going to receive from the map matching software will be when the designated highway has been crossed or in between if the vehicle goes out. So also this, you can see that there is a gantry also. So ITS gantry, or we say MLFF gantry, that is also giving the same input to us. All this data is collected, and central charging software also works as the MSI, what we call MSI. I'm just trying to explain you by using this word MSI, so that the entire data, so the toll plaza now will not send the data to bank, but it will send to central charging software, and then this central charging software will send collated data to the banking. So this, I call this as central charging software and hybrid GNSS system. This is my last slide. This software is fully developed in India, capable of handling multiple entry data. As I told you that you can share the data from any particular stretch. We'll collect that data, we'll collate it. We will also get the information on that toll plaza. So all the data is collected to central charging software, and then only it is pushed. Single central charging software handles multiple projects. So you can manage multiple projects on this single software. We also provide different web portals for different stakeholders. So for example, in the toll plaza, he wants to know how many vehicles have passed from my particular plaza as well as my particular stretch. So I give that data to that particular plaza. We have customized report with this software. We have automated reports. You can get it through emails, automated emails, SMS. It can also help the authorities. Today, one of the major problems which I see, that NHA receives a letter from any enforcement authority. I need these vehicles, when did they pass? The second thing that NHA does, or I say first thing that they do, they send this to the PD. PD shares it to the system integrator. However, they already have all this data. So this platform will also resolve that part. There is benefits as well as challenges for the hybrid GNSS as well as free flow. So in hybrid GNSS that India is planning, I might be wrong also, but toll plaza will remain there. In free flow, the toll plaza will not be there. So there will be a guarantee for collection of the toll if the people come to the toll plaza, because it's a GNSS. So if you are coming to the toll plaza, it's a guaranteed money that you will receive it, because the barrier will automatically close if you don't have money in your wallet, because FASTag wallet remains the same in GNSS.
You can quickly close it.
Completed. So this is one of the projects that we did in Argentina. You have a toll plaza. On the side we have free flow lanes, and we have segregated this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Akash, for displaying your toll charger software and sharing the experience. Prabhakar, you want to say something, your experience about in US and other places? That's very good.
Thank you very much. So just a quick introduction. I lead the Via Plus by Vinci Highways here in India. We are part of the Vinci Group, and we are a technology organization within the Vinci Group. In terms of background, as what we do, we are a software technology provider in the global mobility and the intelligent transportation systems market. Just to give a little more context in terms of tolling technology, we have been the enabler of free flow systems, largely in the US and in Europe. We have close to about 97,000 kilometers of lanes that we have enabled with free flow technology. In India, we have been one of the first back office providers for the FASTag processing system. Today, we process close to about 2.5 billion transactions in FASTag per year. across the globe, somewhere about 4 billion transactions, and we have expertise both in ETC, just plain ETC as you can call, which is a fast-track system as of today, GNSS-based tolling in Europe, and free-flow tolling or multi-lane free-flow that we were just talking about, right, in the US. Now, in terms of what we have done in our journey, right, we've been in this space for the last 12 years in India, processing fast-track transactions. So we have seen the growth of the system. We've seen the growth of penetration of fast-track from 0% somewhere in 2012 to 98% today, 98-99%, and the growth of the traffic and the transaction volume that we currently process today. In terms of taking the next step towards either free flow or GNSS, and both of these technologies have their different outcomes. Both enable barrierless technology, right? Barrierless driving or barrierless mobility. But in terms of what the outcomes are quite different, right? Free flow enables, aspects of things with infrastructure at the lane side, GNSS with less infrastructure, and a different outcome in terms of being fair by putting in distance-based tolling and so on and so forth, right? So there are pros and cons of each of those systems. But my few points that I wanted to talk about was majorly whether it be free flow or whether it be GNSS, how do we ensure that any solution that we bring is catered to the Indian conditions, right? And when we look at India, what are the two main things that we have to look at? One is scalability and coverage, right? Now, we have different terrain conditions, different aspects of things in terms of availability, can the platform be robust enough to be able to handle those kind of scenarios? Can we put in intelligence within the GNSS based tolling platform where the engine is looking at data that is coming from prior and after the signal loss, and is able to intelligently interpolate what are the missing points and then accurately bring in.
Let me change the track. When we talk about the GNSS or free flow tolling, there is one aspect on the highway which usually missed is how you are going to enforce the overweight. Since this is going to be a very fast moving traffic, it's a free flow. So right now the WIM which are installed at toll plaza, since by default the vehicles are slowing down at the toll plaza, those are the slow speed WIM or medium speed WIM. But when we are moving to a free flow, the vehicles are cruising at a higher speed, then we require high speed WIM. So we got two experts over here who will be talking about the way in motion things. So I will request first Mr. Ashish Bhutani to tell about what he perceived, how high speed WIM will be, or what are the challenges you think will be there.
Thank you, Akhilesh. My name is Ashish Bhutani, and I represent a company. I'm one of the directors in Ashby Systems Limited. We are involved in the weighing motion, which is installed at the toll plazas to check if the truck is overloaded. This is a mandate from the NHAI that every lane in every toll plaza on the highways has to have a weighing motion. So we've done about 4,000 installations till now. Besides installing new machines, we also retrofit and upgrade some of the other machines of other brands, and wherever refurbishing is required. So I was standing at an angle to be able to see what I'm presenting. Okay. So I want to start by telling you that this overloading is quite a big problem. Sometimes it's bigger than the importance that it gets from the authorities. So one overloaded truck causes the same damage to the roads as 20,000 cars. In Europe, some companies say it's not 20,000, it's 30,000 cars. So why do we need, and what is the importance of weighing on the roads? One is that, of course, the overloading causes excessive damage. Second is that the overload can also be a source of revenue, because to repair those roads which have been damaged, the cost runs into thousands of crores, which has to be borne by the owner of the road, whom we call concessionaires or the authorities. So this source of revenue is also very important. And then, of course, it's also a compliance issue. And lastly, it's also a safety issue because, overloaded trucks are very difficult to steer. And as we all know that in India, the number of deaths we have on the roads is the highest in the world. So it is a safety issue, and overloaded trucks cause accidents, and which can also be fatal. So today we are all discussing about the GNSS and the free flow. And in either situation, the trucks are moving on open roads, and we are talking about doing away with the toll plazas as they exist today, and to be replaced either by a gantry or some kind of a system, but something which is not based on lanes and not based on stopping the vehicles on the highways and allowing them a free flow. So, high-speed weighing motion is probably the only solution when we go in for a free flow or a GNSS if we have to prevent overloading. This is something which is not optional, in my opinion. It is something mandatory. And I cannot think of any other solution which...
Like Ashish said that we are there in the industry almost 3 decades. For weighing motion, we are there almost 1 decade. That started with slow speed. Then again, there was a medium speed. Today we are talking about high speed. We started protecting the roads. Now we understand after building so much of roads, so they'll be talking about safety. So that is the two things which are focused on that, the protecting the road as well as safety. So even the GNSS recent spec of 2023, I think I have not seen weighing there as a part of it. So one is concerned because they are not protecting the road, because each trucks are taking 30-40 tons of weight. So those is actually protected. The accidents is happening for those things. Actually, if you see that is one challenge what we are going to see that. The technology we have got, even we're talking about 120 speed kilometer, what we're talking, even we have 150 kilometers, 200 kilometer speed. There's again depends. So the only thing my request is that to the panel and this thing, support us that, because it's a very key point of the toll plaza, even though we are doing a free flow, so that weighing is very important, so that it should be there in this particular thing. That's the only thing I can request the panel and the team. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity.
So thank you very much. We never wanted you to be so crisp and short, but nevertheless, you in a very few words you conveyed your thing that enforcement is a real challenge actually. Technology per se is not that challenging. Now we to the last speaker from Electronics, you can share your experience. And then thereafter we'll be having a few minutes for the question, because I can see the full house is here. People are quite interested to ask questions there.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. I know that I don't have so much time, so I'll run a little bit. My name is Nitin and I'm representing Electronic Machine Vision Middle East. And what we're doing, we are a Germany-based manufacturer of roadside equipment, and as Electronic, we develop our software and hardware and use it on road for traffic enforcement and tolling enforcement. Okay. Today I'm going to present you a case study that shows how products change during the years, because we're trying to be more sustainable and greener. So everything started back to 2000, what you see there, it was considered cutting edge top equipment for free flow tolling. But as you can see, we have heavy boxes, a lot of boxes, and for service and maintenance, that means that they have to carry all these heavy boxes and.
Open for questions. We'll be taking 2 or 3 important questions. Over to you. Anybody who wants to ask, just give intro and ask your question, please.
I'm Prasad from Keynes. I want to know, finally, in the implementation, I mean, we are talking about January 2025 or even mid of 2025. Who is going to buy and who is going to implement? Who is the MSI, SI? Is it through the banks? Is it through the OEMs? Who is exactly going to help in this implementation?
So the ecosystem, anybody want to answer? Yeah. Broadly, the toll is being collected by the government. It's a sovereign rights, and on behalf of ministry, it is collected by NHAI through IHMCL, and on ground they had agencies. So on that, NHAI is already, IHMCL is likely to issue an RFP to select the vendor, the toll charger, who will be actually executing this work. Hopefully, RFP, as I am told, it is under preparation. Maybe by in a couple of months, you'll find it is floated in the market. And thereafter, another 2 to 3 months, you can think when an agency will be onboarded to start this on this. Once that comes in place, the rest of the things automatically start backward falling into place. That's the first time. Anybody?
Actually, it seems Indian context, particularly GNSS space, is bringing a lot of technologies into convergence. Like if I go through presentations, mentioned GNSS and SAARC, RFID, and DNPR. I have been able to comprehend how many technologies are going to be integrated at MLL, MFLL. So is it going to be a big convergence project?
This is the something new is going to be experimented. We have already a robust system which is working. Now we are moving towards a free flow system. Considering the peculiar conditions in India that mostly related to enforcement in our Indian scenario and the geographical peculiarities, we have to be very cautious, and that's what government is doing. They're doing absolutely correct. They're not only going with the in one stroke with the GNSS base, they're also trying multi-lane free flow. They're also going for another further more technologies. There's another technology which is helping in some of the countries is V2X. In the morning we saw that people experts from Japan were talking V2X. So that's again helping the tolling. So there are many technologies. The government will be taking a very careful and step which is long lasting, which goes for a future. It cannot be taken in hurry. So that experiments are going on. Any of our panelists want to add something?
Am I audible? Ideally, see, we already have a stable system over a period of time. Now, obviously, each system has its own pros and cons, and it's time probably to upgrade and make it more free flow. Objective is to ensure revenue, ensure free flow. Now, multiple technologies suggestions are coming up. MLFF and GNSS we are talking about. Be rest assured, in both the places, there will be multiple technologies put together to not only ensure free flow and revenue collection, but also enforcement. But at the end of the day, you are right, everything has to converge together to fulfill these two purposes.
Demetrius want to add?
I would like to ask a question.
Supplementary question. Is there any such kind of a scenario anywhere in the world? This kind of convergence, these kind of, I told and others know, they have implemented 2, 1, maximum 3, but here 5, plus or minus. Has there been any reference case of this kind of complexity?
I think
Anywhere in the world.
better, but if you take example of Europe, multiple countries have multiple systems, and the overall system or the ecosystem is such that when a vehicle crosses the border, it can convert from a DSRC to a GNSS using DSRC as a fallback. So multiple technology already exists. I think they would second it better than me.
Exactly, you're right. So the EU is working towards interoperability between all these systems. So even though these technologies may not have been in one place, the units and the equipment are used to work with all those technologies.
Another thing, see, you have to look at Indian peculiarity also. The sheer volume, it's a continent. The European countries, what they are doing is a very, our pilots are bigger than their full scale in many cases. So we cannot simply adopt that what is happening over there. We have to tweak it, make it as per the correct scenario, suiting to India, and it will be done. I think one last question.
Am I audible? Any one of you are not talking about the cybersecurity infrastructure about the GNSS story. So it comes with the challenge of privacy and all. So I am not saying that is any of the forum right now that I am talking about that. So even in the draft of the I've seen that ARA, right, that whatever is written is not adequate actually. So how we are going to take care of that? And because implementation time is very short.
Because when it talks about, we talk about privacy, primarily triggers from the device which is continuously sending data. So I'm taking the question. Two parts in this. Number one, I talked about AIS 140 mandate and a section of commercial vehicle already giving data to government servers just to ensure avoidance of like incident. So when we talk about this, we identified one segment which is commercial vehicles. They today even sending all data to the government server, so we don't primarily deal with privacy. When it comes to private vehicles, obviously there are a lot of thoughts going on, and if you see the proposed date, what I put it into my slide, the mandate, if it happens at all, it will happen in 2027 October because of this gray area. So we are talking about, you have seen some of the presentations that there are mobile app. So when I only travel on road, I can use it, or rest of the time I keep it. There could be other options of a heavy OBU that it only sends data when it is on a toll road. It detects immediately. Third thought going on is it gives a gateway, all the data to a gateway, and with the map matching, the data, only the toll road travel data is taken inside, rest is thrown out. So this is private vehicle is going on, and in any case you have to ensure two things. One is obviously the data privacy, and second part is for private vehicle it is more challenging because any OBU has a running cost of SIM card, maintenance, etc. So as a private vehicle owner, if I am going on to toll road once a year, probably the cost of running it for a year would be a bit exorbitant. So those thoughts are already in place and would be taken. Thank you.
Adding to that, one more thing is there. If you see how the software for banking is made, so there are bits and pieces. Different parts are made it separately and then stitch it together. Same way here also in this part there are lot of stakeholders. One, the map matching software, then the central software, then you have the OBU organization, then the OBU server and then you also have NPCI, and I think that is one of the reasons why they are keeping the same wallet, that FASTag wallet, so that the security can be achieve. I think this is my personal view.
Well, so we can discuss it. Thank you very much, Nitin man. It was, and I'm very thankful to my co-panelists, managing a panel of 8 experts sitting here in a 1 hour was actually a tough job. But our panel is very seasoned and experienced, so they could condense their content so quickly, and it was good to thank to all my co-panelists, and thank you to the audience. Thanks. Over to you. You wanted to add something? Sorry. You want to ask it some question?
Yeah. Question. On the weighing motion system, calculation system. Let's say that we have a 2-lane system, road, and a driver between the 2 lanes. Can we have exact measurements of the weight of the vehicle or not?
I was wondering, there's one question on motion. I'm happy that there's been one question. So, yes, this we are talking about even more than 2 lanes. So we have a set of sensors which is throughout the width of the highway.
Yes, but it's individual. It's lane, it's individual. Yeah,
so we say lane, but there is no lane. It's an open road in which we've got sensor running throughout the width of the road. There are multiple sensors. And so you can't escape a sensor, a wheel. It can happen that you change from one lane. I mean, lane is not a physical lane, but if you are changing from one side to the other side, and one sensor is got the weight of one wheel, and the other sensor got the weight of the other wheel. So we add them together, and they get an axle weight. So we are getting axle by axle, adding them, and then deriving the gross weight of the vehicle. And of course, checking from the software what is the permissible one, how much it will get. So is it overloaded or not? That's the main purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, we are really short of time. May I request Mr. Prashant Oberoi, Director India in SAARC Northern Communication, to felicitate the panel. I request Mr. Akhilesh Srivastava, President ITS for India Forum. Peter Fordley, Intelligent Transfer Solutions Team leads Cycle. Akash Sinha, CEO, Succeeded. Mr. Anshuman Roy, Director, Telematics Business, Rosemont. Mr. Dimitrios Devastis, Electronics. Mr. Ashish Bhutani, MD, Shri Systems. Mr. Srinivas Prabhakar Rao, CEO by India Viapol. PV Sridhar, VP, SR. A group photo, please.